If you've watched some of the ARCA broadcasts this year, if you've been on NASCAR's YouTube channel, and if you've just been on social media, you probably know as a NASCAR fan who Cleetus McFarland, aka Garrett Mitchell, is. And if you were on yesterday, you would probably know too that there's the possibility, according to Adam Stern in the Sports Business Journal, that he could get involved with the prospective new NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series team from Stellantis' Ram. Basically, the onboarding process to bringing Dodge back into NASCAR. And if you've also seen how NASCAR's been when it comes to him, they have been promoting him heavily. And a lot of people that have a lot of following on social media get promoted by NASCAR at different points. And yes, he is also a driver out there, which will get him that extra promotion. But I have to admit, it has seemed a little interesting just how quickly they embraced him and embraced how much he's been pushing to get in. And this might make a little bit more sense with that, to kind of get people on board a little bit when it comes to NASCAR fans. Because let's be honest, we NASCAR fans as a bunch, we're pretty terrible when it comes to any kind of change. And looking at the article, Stellantis is looking to take kind of the 2004 Toyota route on this. Go through the trucks, maybe a year or two, looking like it's going to be 2026, as they have, since Daytona, already put in the application to be able to be in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series next year, and then try and build up after that. The timing is less specific, they note, with Honda, but it looks like Honda is still eyeing their NASCAR entry soon as well. So that fourth and fifth OEM that Steve Phelps talks about being in the room may actually be in the room soon. But the Sports Business Journal also had said this, that their documents say McFarland is one of the names slated to be part of the program as a driver and brand ambassador. The team is expected to lean more on celebrity partnerships and potentially celebrity ownership to grow its presence quickly. Now, while they had no response, I think there should be some kind of talk about this. Because Dodge and Stellantis, there's been a lot of talk of them outside of racing for the fact that it seems like the funds are drying up in a lot of areas. And a lot of people that are more in the know about this than the average fan are questioning how that they can do this in any way. How can they race in NASCAR, fund teams, fund all of this really big stuff that they're going to have to do to be in the sport, to be able to support the sport the way that Toyota, Chevy, and Ford do? How are they going to be able to do this? And this is kind of, well, not the way that a lot of people thought it could go if they're able to still do it. Celebrity partnerships are nothing new to NASCAR and to implementing new things in NASCAR. For instance, in 2007, when they added the COT car, Impala and Chevrolet made a big concerted effort as a brand and as a manufacturer overall to try and onboard the fans with it. They had commercials with Dale Jr. and Tony Stewart, as well as popular musicians at the time, T.I., which I know immediately dates those commercials, as well as probably Smoke and Dale Jr. the more I think about it. Those were some of the ways they tried to do that, because at the time, NASCAR drivers had that pull. Tony Stewart and Dale Earnhardt Jr. weren't just two of the biggest names in NASCAR, they were two of the biggest names in America. Every household knew who Tony Stewart was, and everybody knew who Dale Jr. was in the Earnhardt name. But we don't really have that anymore. And instead now they have to have different ways of trying to lean on different brands and different people and try and create celebrities for themselves. NASCAR is a huge superstar issue. Now, last week, there was the announcement of, so far into this year, the top 10 drivers in merchandise sale. One of the interesting things was that Kyle Larson is outselling Chase Elliott, which means the most popular driver in NASCAR really doesn't have as much pull as a lot of people would think. But the other interesting fact is, after you got past the top 6, there were 3 drivers, 30% of this list, that you could tell were there just from legacy name alone. Why? Because none of them are full-time drivers, 2 of them don't race anymore, and 1 of them's dead. Dale Earnhardt Jr. was 7th on the list. Justin Allgaier was 8th on the list. And Dale Earnhardt was 9th. Now, a lot of people might say, well, Allgaier is still pretty popular in the Xfinity Series. Yes, he is. He won the championship. He probably got a boost from that. But what else happened with Justin Allgaier this year? He was the guy that raced for Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the Daytona 500. And I can tell you from covering the Daytona 500 every single year on YouTube since about 2019, going all in on it, this was probably the biggest bump that one singular driver ever gave when it came to the analytics side of it. And it wasn't because it's Justin Allgaier, it's because it's the Earnhardt name. It's because it's Dale Earnhardt Jr. And there's no shame in saying that. But the problem is nobody right now is really moving the needle. There are no superstars in NASCAR. There are NASCAR superstars, but that's a superstar in their own bubble. So inherently, they are not a superstar outside of the sport. Nobody knows who Kyle Larson or Chase Elliott is outside of racing. Nobody knows who Ross Chastain is by name unless you bring up the Hail Melon to the plebs outside of NASCAR. There's nobody that's moving that needle, so Dodge, NASCAR, and co., they are trying to pretty much astroturf Cleetus McFarland in. He's really popular. 4.4 million subscribers on YouTube the last time I looked. He has over 7.5 million total followers across social media, as compared to NASCAR's 1.5 million subscribers on YouTube. And we've seen NASCAR desperately try to build up the next superstar. But the queen of all of this was Danica Patrick. Danica Mania, if you remember at the time, was insufferably terrible to get away from. Why? Because NASCAR made a huge effort because of how big Danica was outside of NASCAR to make her a NASCAR superstar when she came over. And in hindsight, we all know Kyle Petty was right. It was simply a money grab. She sucked. She was awful in some of the best cars out there, and NASCAR suffered for it because a driver can only be pushed as a superstar for so long until results finally matter. Look at Frankie Muniz, for instance, when he jumped over to NASCAR to start racing. Yeah, I get he's not in a good team, but he was a name that people outside NASCAR knew. They pushed him, but let's be honest, the dude isn't that good. And we're seeing that happen maybe again with Cleetus McFarland. Has he been decent enough in ARCA? Sure, he has been decent. But is he somebody who's going to go up to the Truck Series, as it has been rumored in this article, that he could race and actually race well and represent Dodge in more than just a big fancy name? I don't think so yet. And if Dodge is that desperate for the attention, NASCAR, I know, is that desperate for attention, then you're probably going to see some very interesting moves made soon. It's rumored that Dodge is having an announcement as soon as this week about something big, and it's rumored to be NASCAR. So we might find out sooner rather than later if this is the case. With that, I want to know from you. Do you think Cleetus McFarland and Dodge are a good combination, whether ownership or driving or both? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're at it, leave a like on this video, share this video, and subscribe to this channel for more great and fun NASCAR content. Thank you so much to all my channel members for your continued support. Till next time, have a good one.